Hey there, welcome to a Your Trek. I'm Sensei Mish, well, I'm Mish. Uh, I'm a Trekkie, and today we're going to talk about, or at least in this episode, we're going to talk about Lower Decks. Um, uh, yes, I'll get to that in a second, Rob. Um, we're going to get to Lower Decks, episode 10. It's the season finale of the show. I am actually I'm actually outside of a high school where my daughter's playing volleyball, and I have signal. It's amazing. The only problem is that yeah, I don't have my iPad on me. I left it at home, so I'm gonna have to do a lot of this from memory. So so the whole the episode is it's called First Contact, um, episode 10. If I can remember the star date, 58130.6, maybe, I think. Um, anyway, so uh, uh, it starts out with of course Mariner. She's well, it actually starts out with Freeman talking with Captain Sonia Gomez, who is an original character from the Next Generation, and I I picked up on it. I was like, God, I didn't really recognize the name, but to me, I just had this feeling that there had to be some type of there had to be some type of connection there. So, and then of course after later on, I'm talking with Rob, and because we're talking about the new ship that they introduce. Um, wasn't really sure what it was, but apparently the showrunner had tweeted something that it was actually a new ship, that Captain Gomez is in command of. Now, this Next Generation character that finds himself in here, she was actually an ensign, not in the episode Lower Decks, but she was a Lower Decks character in the Next Generation. She appeared in two episodes. She appeared in I think Q Who and Samaritan Snare, which I find funny because not the Q Who thing, but the Samaritan Snare, because Samaritan Snare was the Next Generation episode where we are. I believe it was the one where we were introduced to the Packlids, and they have been our main pain in the ass this season. So nice correlation there. Anyway, so she's got a huge bump in rank. We find that she that it's insinuated that Freeman is getting a promotion, and Mariner actually overhears this while she's in the hallway, hiding out because she was walking through the hall, bumped into Jennifer, our favorite Andorian, and it's so funny because. What was it? Mariner says something about, it's like, oh, well, you don't think about me. And she's like, no, I don't think about you. And then she mentioned something about her butt. So I thought that was kind of cute. Foreshadowing, of course. Um, basically, Gomez is leading this first contact on this new race, and they're having Freeman kind of be the backup. So she's actually getting to be part of a first contact scenario. So they go. Before they shoot off, Mariner basically is like, "Hey, it's not fair that my mom is leaving. Blah 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 blah. I think I can create some drama." So she tells, she lets what is it? The commander, Shax, and what is it? Billsley, Billups. So anyway, uh, when she tells her lower decks crew though that I thought it was funny because she's telling them about this, and Boimler is making this Captain Freeman's Day that looks exactly like the Captain, the Picard Day from whatever episode, and they make a joke that it's really for kids and all that kind of stuff. So uh, now one of the things that popped up. So Rutherford is having some issues with his little implant, and I looked at a screenshot. It's like a number more than a full telephone number, but it's like 3 digits, dot 3 digits, and then dot 5 digits. And so I'm curious, if you take off the N0, is the 10 digits before that, is that actually somebody's telephone number? So that was kind of a question mark there for me. So anyway, so they go on this thing, and on this and what is it? They kind of hold back because the command crew gives Freeman shit. They're like, she finally tells them, okay, fine, yes, I'm leaving. They're going to be bringing in a new captain. Oh, and that's another thing that I forgot to mention. So when Mariner is telling Rutherford and Tindy and Boimler, she's like, oh, well, they'll probably just bring in a new captain with a writing crop. I automatically thought of Captain Styles from Star Trek 3. So I don't know if there was another captain that carried kind of like a writing crop thing, but he automatically popped into my head. So anyway, command crew finds out. They're all butthurt, but they end up holding back, and you've got what was the ship's name, Rob? What is it? It started with an A. I know that. Yeah, Captain Styles. Anyway, so Gomez's ship, she ends up. Oh, there we go. The Archimedes. So I think that's spelled wrong. I think there was an I. It's Archi, but that's okay. It's at least you can remember, and I couldn't. So anyway, so the Archimedes is doing their thing. The Cerritos is hanging back, and then all of a sudden there's like a flare from the sun of the planet, or the solar system, and it blows this planetoid that they had kind of pointed out earlier on, and it totally blows out. It totally basically is like an EM pulse, and so you have this the Archimedes just kind of twirling towards the planet, and they say it's like 22 hours away. Well, now on Paramount Plus, when it comes to Archimedes, when Paramount Plus, their little thing, it says an Excelsior class ship. And it kind of looks like an Excelsior class ship when it comes to the design, but the engines don't look right. And when it was kind of tumbling towards the planet, an Excelsior has a circular saucer, and this ship had an oval saucer, kind of. And it almost, and what is it? I can't remember the name. It starts with an O. But like I said, showrunner says that there is a brand new ship that they put out. It's got the saucer section and the engines of a Sovereign class ship, kind of like Enterprise E, Obana. Is that how you pronounce that? Obana, something like that. Yeah. Yeah. So and then it's got the hull and the nacelles of an Excelsior, and it's not just an Excelsior from like Star Trek 3 or Star Trek 6, but an Excelsior as in Enterprise B, because it has those little fin thingies on the side. Anyway, it actually looks pretty cool, and I'm kind of hoping that Ingelmoss or Eaglemoss does a ship on that, because it's actually a really cool design. Just like Eaglemoss is putting out a Cerritos, I think in December. I can't remember. So I'll be all over that. Anyway, so they're flying, and then and so the Cerritos can't. There's like this field that's not allowing the Cerritos to get through to help the Archimedes. So so they decide, they I don't know, I can't remember what is it. They end up actually taking off all of the outer panels, because they didn't want to have anything magnetic. The field basically would fry basically any electronics. So, and it's actually Rutherford that figures this out. Now, Rutherford, of course, figures this out because he's on the captain's yacht with Tindy and overhears Mariner and Freeman arguing, basically about Mariner needs to open up and Freeman is leaving. So, but the reason that they're down there is because at least Mariner or Tindy and Rutherford, they end up because they've been basically doing a tour of the ship of all the different places that Tindy really likes, because she's in fear of being transferred off, because she overhears Dr. Tiana saying that she's no good for medical. So there's that fear. Anyway, so long story short, they figure everything out. They take off the outer shell. They fly with thrusters through this field, which is kind of and now that I think about it, now that I'm talking about it, reminds me of the episode from Next Generation, Booby Trap, where they flew the Enterprise through this basically this asteroid field on thrusters. So that was kind of a callback I just thought of now. And then they saved the day. So, when Mariner and her mom are arguing on the captain's yacht, I did have to. I remember my notes. I was like, ooh, even a California class has a captain's yacht. Because they talk shit about the California class, how they're lower starships and all that kind of stuff. But even a California class has a captain's yacht. And then you have, but she says, what is it? Mariner says, she says, I have an, what is it? I have something about having a Kirk style attitude or something like that. And she's like, no, Freeman's like, no, you're nothing like Kirk. He had confidence. And she's like, but I do too. And anyway, but I wrote down that line. I liked that, just the way that she said it. And I know I'm doing it from memory. I can't remember it. Then you've got, what is it? So anyway, they saved the day. They because just as the Archimedes is going into the atmosphere, they pull him out, because Gomez is like, okay, and we kind of hear about this as it being kind of a behind the scenes thing, because we don't actually see the conversation. She allows Freeman to actually do the first contact. So of course, and they actually talk about this in the bar when they're actually going, oh, happy first contact, because it was Freeman's first contact, which is the title of the episode. And it's funny because the aliens, of course, we get to see them before we make actual first contact, but they're actually seeing the ship, like, dive through the atmosphere. But they are happy-go-lucky, very accepting, and love to drink. And so Freeman ends up getting drunk. She ends up telling the crew, hey, we're the Cerritos. I'm going to turn down the promotion or the transfer, because one of the things that we find out early on is she can't take any of her command staff with her. So anyway, so she says, okay, well, I'm just going to turn it down. She gets a notice from the bridge saying that there's Starfleet people who want on the ship to talk to her, and she's like, oh, well, this must be the people that are that are going to do the promotion. I'm just going to tell them I don't want it. So she gets in there, and to come to find out, she's being arrested for basically destroying the Pakled planet with a Viridian bomb. I think it's a Viridian bomb. Basically, what we heard about in the previous episode with the Klingons and all that kind of stuff. And there was a picture of her from when she actually visited the Pakled planet, of the trader with this Cerritos T-shirt, and Starfleet security is like, oh no, this happened at 0900 today, while you just happen to be on mission. So so they're saying that she did it, or she was in charge of it, but that it was but she basically had it going on while she was doing something else to make it look like she wasn't involved. So there's something in the background of her being framed for this. So and of course the episode ends saying, to be continued. So I don't know. We'll find out next season. Some things that are coming back to me. So going back to Rutherford had this warning come up in his vision, and it kind of pops up. He finds out that basically he's been storing all of these redundant memory things, so he could, because he basically couldn't, he completely forgot Tindy, when from last season, from his injury from last season. So he's been saving all these files in triplicate. So the only way to fix his system is to delete all the redundant video or redundant memories, and he does that, and then we get to see this little video of him getting his thing, and it says, oh, well, we'll just tell him that it was needed, or something like that. And he's like, and he even tells Tindy, he says, I fixed the problem. I deleted all the redundant memories, and I think I'm remembering something I'm not supposed to remember. So hopefully, and we know we'll find out about that in next season. The problem is that this was actually a really good episode. It was ruined, though, by the very, very end of Freeman getting arrested. It didn't match the rest of the episode. Like, it did connect the previous episodes, but it didn't kind of fall in line with this episode. It was just kind of like, oh, we saved the day and we didn't mention anything, but oh yeah, now you're arrested for this stuff. And so, Rob and I we kind of felt the same way, that it was kind of stupid by what they did. What would have been better, and Rob had mentioned this in a text to me, was that is that they could have totally played off of the video or the memory that Rutherford had. Maybe something blurs up or something that they could have played on that instead of this kind of surprise, you're arrested. So I don't know. I did like the episode, but just that ending. It's one of those episodes where you watch it. Like for me, I was watching this and I was actually like, everything that was happening, I knew it was a cartoon, but it was kind of like on edge, like, ooh, what's going to happen next? What's going to happen next? I was, can't think of the word, but it was just I was really engaged, and then it just kind of ended, and it's like that kind of ruined it all for me. It's like it was so good, it was such a good episode, and then it ends that way. So I don't know. I hope that I hope they. One thing I hope that they don't do is for season 3, whenever that ends up coming up, is that they don't play half the season rehashing everything like they did with this season. Because like this season, the first couple episodes were amazing, and then they dealt like 3 episodes just kind of rehashing Mariner's feelings. Her uh, I don't know, her feelings about Boimler and being rejected, or not being told. I don't know. It just, so I hope that they don't draw it out too far next season. Um, yeah, it was an episode where I was very invested in everything until the soap opera ending. Exactly. Couldn't have said it better. Couldn't have said it better. Now, one thing I think we do at the end, we do kind of have, and not exactly at the end, before the bad ending, we do kind of have a reconnection between Jennifer and and Mariner, and basically saying, "Oh, well, I thought you hated me," and all that kind of stuff. And one thing for me, and this goes back to the star dates. So I know it's only 10 episodes. Today was Stardate, what, 58130, something like that. So if they're going by the way the next generation does Stardates, it's only like maybe February or March, if that. So, but Jennifer says, "Oh, well, I'm sorry, I've been, such a jerk all year." So, is this supposed to be something that, like, these 10 episodes happened over a period of a year? I don't know. So that's just me. Not sure, how they're doing the star date. But if they are consistent with the Star Trek star date for Next Generation timeline, which this falls in place with that, um, I don't know. It's just off a little bit. So anyway, there you go. That is all the news that's fit to print for that. There's not going to be any regular episode today. Again, I've got a volleyball game and I've got a bunch of other stuff going on. But when it comes to our regularly scheduled Star Trek, there will be an episode tomorrow, a live review tomorrow, because tomorrow we are going to talk about the last 2 episodes and probably some further ones. But specifically, we're going to talk about the last 2 episodes of the original generation. So we're going to talk about that because we get into the weekend and we're going to start watching the original series movies. So excited for that. Anyway, yeah, we'll just talk tomorrow. Not exactly sure what time, but I'll post it. I'll let you guys know. Most likely might be earlier. Not sure. Might be 7. I don't know. Anyway, until then, live long and prosper, and I'll see you on the next episode.